Hi,
Hi,
everybody.
everybody.
Welcome to our book study from the book
Message from a teen in the spiritual world
by the Spirit
by the Spirit Neio Lucio,
and through the medium.
Chico Xavier.
There we go. So today, which chapter are we going to
We are going
read?
to read the Good Sleep.
There we go. Then Zellie will read for us, and then we can talk about this beautiful chapter.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
the Good Sleep. I was surprised to notice that none of you were aware of Aunt Eunice's presence. I got
The impression
I got the impression that you couldn't see her. Even Dr. Martino, who was looking right at her, displayed complete indifference. But she wasn't the
least
least bit concerned by it. She moved to the bedstead and placed her soft hand on my head. Great relief bathed my soul. It felt like the sun's rays were penetrating my paralyzed body. I couldn't talk as I wanted, but I could think more clearly. I stopped paying attention to my sore throat and was able to think without much trouble. I had gotten a bit better. Had I gotten a bit better? Was death still prowling around my bed? What what would happen in the next few minutes? I wanted to ask I wanted to ask Aunt Eunice a few questions and at the same time explain to her that I was greatly afraid of death. However, my lips could barely move, but from what I could tell, she
perceived
right away what was going on in my mind. I smiled kindly and said, "Do you really?" She smiled kindly and said, "Do you really believe that someone could vanish forever? Don't believe such foolishness. You must compose yourself. After all, you have gone through many, many pain-filled days and sleepless nights." She smiled with even more tenderness, filling me with deep trust, and then said, "You must sleep peacefully without any worries." Any
and
since I was listening to her advice, she added, "Rest, little Carlos. Don't be afraid to give in to the
influence of sleep.
I'll watch over you." She then passed her right hand lightly and
repeatedly
over my ulcerated throat.
Yes.
The change I expected was complete. I felt like she was applying a wonderful bandage of relief. The pain that had tormented me for so long began to
gradually.
gradually give away. An unspeakable peace came over me, and at last I
Trustingly,
gave into Aunt Eunice's care in the same way I used to
abandon,
abandon myself to Mom's tenderness. She began
stroking,
stroking my
sweat, so
sweat-soaked face with her loving and kind hand, and
rested
it
gently.
on my eyelids. I was still trying to look at you, but couldn't. My unexpected visitor
Gently
gently closed my eyes and
urged.
sleep, little Carlos. You are tired. I couldn't say a word, but I agreed mentally. I was thankful, and
Comforted,
Aunt Eunice noticed my
silent,
air of
contentment.
because right
But then she
then she
leaned.
leaned over and kissed me. I recalled
How
how Mom kissed me every night, and because of the relief I was feeling, I finally gave into the good sleep.
there we go. Okay, this chapter is the good sleep, and Carlos is telling his brother about when he died
Yeah,
and disconnected in one.
yeah.
So, what do you think about this chapter?
I think it is a very good inspiration.
Because we know that we are assisted. So, Aunt
Yeah,
Eunice was a spirit that came to assist Carlos through his death.
yeah,
Do we all are we all being assisted, you think?
yeah,
Yes. And that makes it much more peaceful to know if we know someone that goes through the death process
yeah,
that they are assisted.
yeah.
And what is in this chapter that stood out for you?
In this chapter, I think it was when Aunt Eunice tried to make him calm and not be afraid of death.
Yes. And she gave passes. He
Yeah,
explained her hands on his throat because he has a very sore throat.
yeah, very sore throat.
And how he feels this relief. So we know that we are being assisted. So if we know someone who is going through death, and we're going to to see this through our lives, one time or another.
Yeah,
And then this chapter made us feel relieved and
yeah,
thankful
relief.
to know that we are assisted as well.
Yeah,
Yes. And the spirits that comes is helpers from God.
yeah. And as Aunt Eunice, Carlos's aunt, it can also be one of our family members.
Yes. It usually is.
Yeah, it
They come
usually
to
is.
assist. Yes. And then our spiritual guides are there. There are so many spirits assisting us.
Yeah,
So we are never alone, not even
not
through death.
not even this much. Not
No,
even this much.
no,
Not
we are
even
never
this
alone.
little bit. We are always never not alone.
I think what this chapter is telling us is that we are always assisted through life as well as through death.
Yeah,
That is why we don't have to be afraid.
yeah,
We have to trust in God and accept and be open for the assistance that we can get.
yeah,
Yes, what a beautiful chapter. We can't wait for the next.
yeah.
So until next time, beloved friends, If you have any comments or questions, please be free to ask so we can
Yeah.
have this beautiful conversation about this beautiful book by the Spirit Neio Lucio. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for joining me and Zellie. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.